16:19-31. So this is a story about a rich man and a man who live in poverty and sickness. And I don't know if this is a parable or if it's actually, if Jesus is telling about something that actually happened, but it gave us a glimpse into the state of the afterlife before Jesus came. I think after Jesus came, whenever we die, our last breath on earth is our first breath in heaven. However, before that, there was kind of like a holding place that we can see right here. And there's like a chasm between Hades and a place called Abraham's bosom, or this one, it actually said Abraham's arms. And it seems like people can see each other through this chasm, but one place was really a lot of torment, and the other place is a place of comfort. And because the rich man didn't really care about this poor man's Lazarus, and it's interesting that the rich man's name is not mentioned. Like we don't even know who he is, yet the poor man is called by name, like Lazarus. So Lazarus is remembered, and so he wanted Lazarus to have, like Abraham, to have mercy, so send Lazarus so that Lazarus can dip the tip of his finger in the water and cool off his tongue. And he's in like agony in this flame that he's in. He can still talk though, and he can still reason, and he can still think. And so Abraham is like, pretty much you get what you deserve, because this is how you lived your life. However, even if we want to, there's this chasm that we cannot cross. And then so he then wanted to, like, told his siblings, his brothers, so that they won't come to the place that he's at. But in the end, the short of it is that Abraham said if they do not listen to Moses and the prophet, they will not be persuaded, even if someone does rise from the dead. And I think how true, like people want certain signs, but what I've seen, like even the closest thing to this I know of is near-death experience. And in one situation, it's with this lady named Pamela. I forgot her last name, but she was pretty much clinically dead. She did not have brain activity. Her blood was drawn out of her, and yet she has, in this clinically dead environment that is documented medically with professionals, not just someone who goes on YouTube and make things up, but she was actually someone who they did very very precise medical procedures on her, and well documented. And she had an out-of-body experience where she saw herself. She can tell people things that she saw in the operating room that she shouldn't have been able to be seen in that state. And even there's she remember them using a bone saw on her, and she mentioned it as an electric toothbrush. And even doctors who are not, because that tool is specialized, other doctors in the profession doesn't even know what the tool looked like until they went and they research what she said, and they're like, oh yes, she described it correctly. And so there's so many corroborative evidence for her case being true, and she did meet a figure of light, and she did come back into her own body and live again. So that's the closest thing to a person rising from the dead in our generation, in the past 100 years or so. And we have documents about it, but yet people don't believe. they don't find the evidence for themselves. They don't use that to say, oh, we have a soul. And so who created our soul? Who is the figure of light? And Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. And no one comes to the Father except through me. He made such a bold claim. We have to say, is he saying the truth or is he not? So people should use that as a springboard into the spiritual, but some have an easier time saying, no, that's baloney, or I'm not gonna believe in it. Just because it didn't happen to me, I'm not gonna, investigate it. And so that is so true, and this is the wisdom. And so if we do not take the small steps to investigate faith, we're not going to get a bigger dose of it. And God leads us when we walk. And so I just wanted to, before I read this and I was young and I'm like, excuse me, like, why doesn't God just give us invaluable proof? This man said, like, why doesn't he just send someone back from the dead and make it like really apparent? But now as I live more and I see more evidence like that is going on in this world that we are living in, and people dismiss it, I truly do believe that what's written in the Bible is true. If Moses and the prophets, if God orchestrated for them to be the messenger, he has a special reason why he chose them. And if people don't believe in them, and especially if people don't believe in Jesus, then that's it. They won't be persuaded. Some of them just believe in what they want to believe and what is right in their eyes, not in God's eyes.